Hello and welcome to my channel. In this episode, we'll be discussing Episode 1, What is Physics? Units and Measurements. Let's get started. First, we'll learn about what physics is. Then we'll discuss measurements, units, and other important topics. The purpose of this episode is to introduce you to the basic concepts of physics and get you ready for what's to come. So let's start with the big question. What is physics? Physics is the study of matter, energy, and the interactions between them. Everything around us is made of matter or has some kind of movement or energy. Physics helps us explain how the world works, from the smallest atom to the largest star. There are many branches of physics, but they all deal with studying how things move or change over time. For example, mechanics is a branch of physics that studies motion, while thermodynamics explores how heat affects systems. Other branches include waves and optics, which cover sound and light, electricity, and magnetism, which deal with circuits and forces, and modern physics, which looks at atoms and quantum particles. To do their work, scientists use the scientific method. First, they ask a question about something they observe. Then they form a hypothesis or possible answer to the question. Next, they design an experiment to test the hypothesis. And finally, they analyze the results and draw conclusions. This method is the foundation of all scientific discovery. Now let's talk about measurements. In science, a physical quantity has two parts, a number and a unit. For example, 5 meters or 20 kilograms. The number tells you how much of that quantity there is, and the unit tells you what the quantity is. There are many different units for measuring physical quantities. For example, we can measure length in inches or feet, but scientists prefer to use metric units. The 7 SI base units are meter for length, kilogram for mass, second for time, Kelvin for temperature, ampere for electric current, mole for amount of substance, and candela for luminous intensity. These units are used to measure all other physical quantities. For example, speed is measured in meters per second. To measure physical quantities, we use tools. A ruler measures length, a stopwatch measures time, and a balance measures mass. Using the right tool for the job helps us get accurate measurements. Sometimes measurements are very large or very small. To make it easier to write them, scientists use scientific notation. In scientific notation, we use powers of 10. For example, the speed of light is 3 times 10 to the 8 meters per second. This means 300 million meters per second. When making measurements, it's important to remember significant figures. The number of digits in a measurement tells us how precise it is. For example, if we measure the length of a pencil to be 10 centimeters, we know that the pencil is about 10 centimeters long. But if we measure the same pencil and get 10.5 centimeters, we know more about its length than before. In science, we use the following rules for counting significant figures. Non-zero digits are always significant. Zeros between non-zero digits are significant. All zeros in a number expressed using scientific notation are significant. Leading zeros are never significant. Trailing zeros in a number with a decimal point are significant. Trailing zeros in a number without a decimal point are not necessarily significant. Let's check your understanding. How many significant figures are in the number 0.032? Comment your answer below. Now let's take a look at some examples of significant figures in action. If we measure the length of a table to be 1.5 meters, we know that the table is about 1.5 meters long. If we measure the same table and get 1.50 meters, we know that it's about 1.50 meters long. In this case, the extra digits in the second measurement make it more precise. When performing calculations with significant figures, we need to follow some rules. When multiplying or dividing, the answer should have the same number of significant figures as the measurement with the fewest significant figures. When adding or subtracting, the answer should have the same number of decimal places as the measurement with the fewest decimal places. We've covered a lot of ground in this episode, so let's take a moment to review what we've learned. Physics is the study of matter and energy and their interactions. Scientists use the scientific method to investigate the natural world. We use units to measure physical quantities. The SI base units are meter, kilogram, second, Kelvin, ampere, mole, and candela. We use tools to measure physical quantities. A ruler measures length, a stopwatch measures time, and a balance measures mass. Scientific notation helps us write very large or very small numbers. Significant figures tell us how precise a measurement is. Now it's time for the quiz. What is the SI unit of mass? Is it gram, kilogram, pound, or newton? If you answered kilogram, you're correct. Kilogram is the SI unit of mass. This brings us to the end of Episode 1. I hope you enjoyed learning about physics, units, and measurements. In the next episode, we'll continue our journey into the fascinating world of physics. Until then, keep asking questions, keep experimenting, and keep thinking like a scientist. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.